Okay, this is lesson 9, and we're going to discuss the machlokes that we mentioned before between Rav and Zeiri concerning someone that throws his straw in the street in order for it to turn into fertilizer. We're going to discuss, did we have this machlokes before in a Tanaic source? It means either a mishna or a brisa. So, lema ketanoi, we're starting right here. Lema ketanoi. Shall we say, lema is, shall we say, and it's like a question. Shall we say that the machlokes that we just had is kitanoi, is like tanoim? And we'll do this, and I'll take you back to a chart, so we'll be able to understand this better. So shtar means a document. Shekasav by ribis, that has in it interest. Now, the way it works normally is that if someone would lend money, let's say would lend $100, let's say Ruvain borrows from Shimon $100, so Shimon doesn't mind giving it to him, but he'd like to use that money to make money himself. So what he would do is he would lend it and say, I'll lend you $100, but you have to pay me back $110. Now, according to the Torah, that's forbidden from one Jew to another Jew. With Goyim, the halachas are different. So if someone did this, he violated the laws of interest, and he lent another Jew, and not only did he lend him, but he even wrote it in the document that I'm lending you $100, but you have to pay me back 110. So kain say we put a fine on him. That means Shimon is going to be punished. He can't collect the principal. Put this down, principal. He can't collect the interest either. So not only does he lose the forbidden money, but he even loses, he even loses the base money, which is his principal money, the $100. Divri Rab Meir, that's the words of Rab Meir. The Chachamim say it's not so strict. Goyves Keren. He's allowed to collect the principal. But Avalayas Aribis, but he can't collect the interest. We'll take a look at the chart, and then you'll see what's going on over here before we go further. So the chart says that we had the machlokes between Rav and Zeiri. According to Rav, anyone that goes into the street that wants to take the straw that this person threw there, let's say Shimon threw straw into the street, Reuven can come along and he can take the, I don't want to confuse you with the names, but he can take the whole entire thing, the profit, the improvement of the straw. Let's say the straw was worth $100 and now it's worth $110. He can take not only the extra $10 that it improved in the street, he wasn't allowed to put it there, but he can even take the base, the $100 also. We're talking about straw, but we're talking about value. And Zeiri says you can only take the profit, you can only take that $10, and you have to pay back the $100 to the original person, to Shimon that put it there. Okay, now we had another machlokes where if someone lent money with interest, according to Reb Meir, the lender Shimon cannot collect anything, can't collect the interest or the principal, and the Chacham say no, he can collect back the principal, the base money, the $100, but he can't collect the interest. Okay, what we're seeing is that if we would match up the profit with interest, that's the same thing, the profit from this category, the improvement, and the interest from this category. So both of them are more of a reason to fine the person. Change the color here, you can see what we're talking about. It's more of a reason that the person should lose this because this is total sin. This is forbidden money. He was not allowed to put it there. The profit that he got off the straw, that was forbidden for him to get that profit because people can get hurt off the straw on the street. And this interest is also forbidden. So we will definitely put a fine on him on this part. And I made those boxes, which usually mean those lines, which usually means that's the chiyuv part, or we'll put over here the knas. Now, in this section is a machlokes between the Chachamim and Reb Meir and Zeiri and Rav. If you can collect, if the person has a knas on the base aspect, so it's either the original straw or it's the original money that was lent. So what we're doing is we're matching up. Rav is going to hold like Reb Meir, that there's a fine not only on the profit but also on the base, that there's a fine not only on the interest but also on the principal. And Zeiri will hold like the Chachamim, that there's a fine only on the profit of the straw and only on the interest. That is the Gemara, what the Gemara is saying here, that the Lema Ketanoi, let's say that the machlekes between Rav and Zeiri is exactly the same machlekes as Rameir and Chachamim. Rameir and the Chachamim are much earlier, they're Tanaim. Rav and Zeiri are Amiroim. As you know, Rameir is a student of Rabbi Akiva, and he was, Rebbe said, Risias Reb Meir Me'achayrav, he saw the back of Reb Meir. Now, the Rav and Zeiri are like first generation Amiroim. Zeiri may be a student of Rav or contemporary. Okay, we're going to put this as a question because it seems that the Gemara doesn't like for it to be a machlekes tanoim. Put over here some terminology words, and the reason why the Gemara doesn't like a machlekes amirim to be a machlekes tanoim is because why would these amirim argue about something without mentioning the tanoim that spoke about this earlier? Okay, so the Gemara says, I'm sorry, I put the question mark in the wrong spot. The Gemara says, Lema Rav the Amar Rab Meir. Shall we say that Rav holds like Rab Meir? Zeiri the Amar Rabbanan, and Zeiri holds like the Rabbanan. That's exactly what we did on the chart. We matched up Zeiri with the Rabbanan, which is the Chachamim, and Rav we matched up with Rab Meir. So Amalach Rav. Rav will tell you. Now Amalach is that he would tell you. Not that he actually does. He would tell you because Rav isn't around. And Lema Ketanai, I should fill that in. Let's put in, shall we say, and that it's a machlekes tanai. Okay, so Rav would tell you that I actually hold like, not only like Rameir, but also like the Chachamim. And, or rather, they hold like me. Anod Amri Afilu Rabbanan. I can say, even according to the Rabbanan. I don't have to limit myself to only holding like Rameir. In other words, in the case of interest, I could hold that there's only a fine on the interest, but not on the principal. So Ad Khan, until here, like Amri Rabbanan Hassam, the Rabbanan did not say over there. Hassam means there. We have terminology tests. Remember this. Hacha is here, and Hassam means there. I've told you several times that the tuf can turn into a shin if you want to remember. Sham means there in Hebrew. The Rabbanan said over there by interest, Ela Keren, that only the Keren can be collected de behetera because it's permissible. There was no sin on the actual $100. Aval hacha, but here, when we're dealing with the straw in the street, Keren gufa kamazik. The base, let's translate here, Keren here as interest. I'm sorry. That's a bad one. Keren over here means principal, and Keren here means the base of the straw. It's talking about two separate cases, but it's the same word and it's the same idea, that it's the original that you put there. So Keren over there was hetera, was mutter to put, was we're dealing with the money that was lent is permissible to lend. Aval hacha, but here Keren gufa kamazik, the base itself, gufa is itself, causes damage. Okay, so basically, if we look back at our chart, it would go like this. That Rav would say, I can go according to them and I can go according to them. In other words, both of them will go according to me. What he means is, there's no question that Rameir would hold like Rav, because that there's a fine on the base itself, but even the Chachamim, Rav would claim, would go according to him, because over here they are less strict and they allow you to collect the base, the principal, because there was no sin done with the principal. The whole sin is only on the interest. But over here, the straw, which is the base, is causing the damage. So therefore, we'll put the fine on both. However, and okay, so that we've taken care of Rav, how Rav would go like both. Zeiri Amalach, Zeiri would tell you, but in Amalach would say to you, Ana da Amri, Ana means I, like Ani. I left it out over here. I, Ana. Ana da Amri Afilu Rab Meir, I can go even according to Rab Meir, which would mean, if we look back over here, Zeiri would say, I have no problem going like Rab Meir, and Rab Meir could go according to me, obviously. The Chachamim, like we said before, but Rameir also would hold like me. And the reason is, Adkan like Amar Rab Meir Hassam. Until here, Rab Meir did not say over there Ella only the Mishas Ksiva. That over there by the interest. Hassam means there again. It's just a review for us. The Mishas Ksiva from the time of the writing of the document. This is writing of the document. The Avid Le Shuma that he did for him Shuma, which is the interest. It comes from the pasuk of Leisa Siman Olav Neshach. Put that in. So it knows that the writing of the document there was already a problem. So therefore we're going to be more strict. Aval Hacha, but here Mi Yemar, who is to say? Who's to say? Knows how do we know? The mazik, that it's going to cause damage. So by the straw, we're going to be more lenient and we're only going to fine, rather, the profit. That's what Ziri would say. However, over here, we're going to have to put a fine even on the interest. Oh, I'm sorry, even on the principal, because the principal itself, at the very initial moment that the principal was given, was lent, there was already an interest that was part of it, and that's the sin was done originally. So knows over here we're going to be more strict. However, by the case of the straw on the street, we don't know if it's going to cause damage, and therefore we're going to be more lenient. Okay.